And today proved that you should not be going out of your way to get this guy. That's the cold harsh truth. Two of your biggest winners are guys that I didn't think we'd be talking about, at least on the winning side of things. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you having a great weekend. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. Man, oh man, day 3 of the Combine is officially in the books, and you know what we're about to do. We're going to talk all about it. The premise of this video is relatively simple. We're going to talk about the biggest winners from day 3 and also the biggest losers. We recap day 1 and day 2, and it seems like you guys are enjoying this mini series we're doing on the channel. So yeah, let's keep it going. And oh yeah, by the way, completely off topic, but I got those in there to start the video. I'm pissed off. Now I know what you're sitting there saying. Man, why are you pissed off, man? Because of the Alabama versus Tennessee basketball game. I know you're here for the football stuff, so I'm not going to give you a whole breakdown and recap of that game, but bare minimum, if you watched it, you know, it should have went to overtime. Number 1, how do we not get the ball in bounds? And number 2, why do we not burn a timeout, man? What are we doing? We should have won that ball game. Congratulations to Tennessee, and I don't mean this as disrespect, but we were the much better team, we played better, and we somehow, some way, still lost. And oh yeah, by the way, we couldn't make a free throw either. That is one of those stomach-churning losses, but hopefully we can learn from that and be better moving forward. Let me calm down. Moving along to the draft stuff, today was quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, aka everybody's favorite day. I said this in the previous videos, I'm going to say it again. I cannot sit up here and talk about every single player. It just can't happen. The video would be an hour long. Oh man, where do I even want to start with this? There's so many things I want to talk about, and the sad part is I'm probably only going to touch on 30 to 40% of it. Let's go with the wide receivers. I think the most notable thing was heading into the 40-yard dash, Isaiah Bond stated, and I quote, "I'm going to run a 4.1 or a 4.2 and break the 40 record." He, as a matter of fact, did not run a 4.1 or 4.2. It's quite embarrassing. He ran a 4.41. Now, I know what you're sitting there saying. Matt, a 4.41? That's insane, brother, and I agree, but it's not insane when you say I'm going to run a 4.1 or 4.2. Bare minimum, if you say that, you got to run a 4.33, 4.34, 4.35, something like that. This is a perfect life lesson on why you should never overpromise. Always set the bar low. That way, you can exceed it and shock everybody. And actually, the funniest thing about all of this is Isaiah Bond wasn't even the fastest wide receiver on his team. That was Matthew Golden. He ran a 4.29. When it comes to the wide receivers, obviously Matthew Golden did himself a solid by having the fastest 40 time, so that increased his value just a little bit. But I tell you who I really like, and I don't know if anybody helped themselves out more than this young man, and the numbers back it up. Isaac Tesla, wide receiver from Arkansas, he scored an unofficial 997 out of a possible 10. His performance ranked 11th out of 3,441 wide receivers from 1987 up until 2025. That's insane. I'm not going to sit up here and read these numbers out to you guys. You can take a look at them for yourself. You can pause it if you want to. Another wide receiver that helped themselves out is Ted McMillan from Arizona. Another big winner in the wide receiver group, arguably one of the biggest sleepers in this entire group, Jalen Noel from Iowa State. 4.39 40-yard dash. Yeah, you'll take that. 41.5-inch vertical. Unreal. 11.2 broad jump. And it's not even just the numbers. If you watch him today, you know exactly what I'm talking about and referring to. He looks so smooth. I'm kind of struggling on how I want to describe it. It almost looked like, okay, this is a good phrase or good word. It looked like he was gliding out there. You know how you can tell when somebody's trying really hard? Well, to him, it looked like he was running at 70% speed, but that's just because of how easy he makes it look. I have no idea what his ceiling is or how high he could go, but he's definitely flying up some draft boards after this performance. Your biggest losers, like we talked about, Isaiah Bond. He didn't really hurt himself too much, but he didn't help himself, and this is undisputable. Tez Johnson from Oregon, terrible measurables. If you're only going to weigh 150 pounds, and yes, that's how much he weighs, you need to run under a 4.5, and he didn't do that. Moving along here to the running backs, Donovan Edwards from Michigan, I thought he had a good day. One of your biggest losers at the running back position, and he's been having a rough, really year. And when I say year, past 11, 12 months, he didn't have a great season in this most recent year in college football. Ollie Gordon, he ran a 4.61 in the 40-yard dash, and Everything else, it wasn't too much better. Overall, it's very easy to sum up for Mr. Ollie Gordon. He looked mediocre. This is not a guy, if I'm a scout or NFL team, I'm salivating over like a Jahmyr Gibbs a couple years ago. He may go in the 3rd round, but to be honest, I could see him falling as far as the 4th round. There's way other better options when it comes to running backs. Let me tell you something, though. This guy's the definition of underrated, and I don't know what more he has to do to prove himself. Cam Scatterboo. Oh my goodness, he went off today, and it's crazy because you'd think he'd be getting more love and attention after what he did in the college football playoff, but he's not. Had nearly a 40-inch vertical and a 10-3 broad jump, and everything else, it was a-okay. I think Trevor Etienne made some extra money. Here's the problem with him. He just can't stay healthy. If this guy can get healthy, who knows what the limit for him is. One of my favorite running backs in all of college football this most recent season that for some odd reason nobody talked about, Jordan James from Oregon. Keep your eyes on him. Here's the interesting part about him. He ran a 4.55 40-yard dash. However, and if you keep up with football, you know this, the 40-yard dash isn't valued too much when it comes to the running back position because it's a little different. Jordan James is not the fastest running back in this draft, but I think he's one of the quickest. There's a difference. He has those fast twitch abilities, and he not only just knows when to hit the holes, he knows how to hit them, and a lot of running backs don't do that. He can bob and weave in and out of all those tackles, and long story short, he's just a good runner. Many more things I can say about that, but let's move along to probably the main reason you clicked onto this video, the quarterbacks. So we're going to start out with a loser first at the quarterback position, and that is no other than Will Howard. He was struggling mightily. I vividly remember he had back-to-back throws that weren't even close to the wide receivers. I thought Will Howard was an excellent college quarterback, but when it comes to NFL, I'm not high on him. Nobody with 2 functional brain cells is high on him. He's nothing more, nothing less than all right. And today proved that you should not be going out of your way to get this guy. That's the cold harsh truth. Probably the most polarizing quarterback in this NFL draft, Jalen Milroe, he had a solid day. When it comes to the deep ball, nobody throws a prettier deep ball than Jalen Milroe, but we've known that. It's the intermediate passes and reading the defense, that's what gets him. When it comes to the drills, he had great zip on all of his passes, but here's the biggest winner of today. Jackson Dart. Man, oh man, is this guy lighting it up or what? He had a great year at Ole Miss, but in the combine, I thought he was going to do good. He did better than good. He did great. The anticipation and accuracy he has, that's what stood out the most to me. He has a great arm, and when you combine that with his ability to read a defense, that is a recipe for success. I think he has the potential to be a starter and a top 15 quarterback in this league. I really do. Now, here's the kicker with that. When it comes to upside and potential, Jalen Milroe actually has more. However, he has more of a downside of Jackson Dart. Milroe's a high-risk, high-reward guy. Jackson Dart, not so much. Quinn Ewers, he was all right today. I've been a Quinn Ewers fan since high school, but he didn't hurt himself, didn't help himself. I tell you who actually kind of disappointed me, Kyle McCord. I don't know what it is, but the way he was throwing the football, it was like he was trying to be nonchalant about it, and he was just lobbing it out there. It's like, dude, you got to put some zip on these passes. This is the NFL, man. This ain't college football. I get it's a combine, but these scouts were not impressed with Kyle McCord just lobbing the ball out there. He didn't do bad, don't get it twisted. He's definitely not one of the biggest losers, but he didn't do so well. Arguably the biggest loser out of the bunch, Dylan Gabriel. Terrible measurables, and I mean terrible. His arm strength is concerning, to say the least, and that might be sugarcoating it. It's pretty bad. I thought potentially Dylan Gabriel could have been a late day 2 guy, but now I'm thinking it's more so of early day 3 after this performance. 2 of your biggest winners are guys that I didn't think we'd be talking about, at least on the winning side of things. Brady Cook from Mizzou and Tyler Show from Louisville. Brady Cook ran a 4.59 40-yard dash. I don't think anybody saw that coming. And also had a 37-inch vertical. What? That's what stood out the most to him. The athletic ability. Sort of like a little Josh Allen-esque, I shall say. Don't get it twisted, Bobby and Timothy watching this video. I'm not saying he's the next Josh Allen, but you get what I'm saying. Very athletic, very underrated when it comes to his athletic ability. You know, typical things they say about a white guy, sneaky, athletic, stuff like that. But on a serious note, he may have jumped up a little bit. I wouldn't be shocked if a team gets a little risky with old Brady Cook. Tyler Show, though, he ran a 4.63, by the way, which is really good, but the way he was throwing the ball, he might have been the best thrower of the day, for being honest. He did have a couple of bad throws, but What stood out the most to me was how fast he was throwing the football and getting it out there. He was really letting that thing fly, and he's more of your gunslinger in the quarterback room. He's going to throw a lot of touchdowns, a lot of interceptions. There's many other players I could talk about, but we're going to end it off here. We will be recapping day 4 tomorrow, so per usual, I'll see you guys tomorrow night. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts down below about that.